Hey guys and girls, there is a new update to Yu-Gi-Oh! Masterduel. I just wanted to check it out with all of you. And going into the shop, it looks like there is a new selection pack and it has Yubel on it, but it's a different version of Yubel. There's also XYZ Explosion, not entirely sure what that is, and is that what I think it is? It is Kashtira's Secret Pack with Gate Guardian. That is interesting. Gate Guardian isn't necessarily bad. This pack is excellent. This pack might be like an A or a B. Maybe a B free pull. Maybe an ultra rare. I don't know. Okay. So a couple super rares. You know, can't get mad at that. Not the worst thing in the world. Next up is XYZ Explosion. Is this what? Yo, I haven't seen a pack like this in a long time. What is this? Just a bunch of random cards and they just threw in XYZs in there? Well, what is useful? Anything new? Nothing new. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the worst pack in the world. C. Yeah, it's like C. Because I like some of the cards in here. I like Infinity. I like Exciton. I like Baguska. But then at the same time, why is this in here? No, not that card. And it's at the same time, it's like, why do you got some of these stuff in here? I mean, you know, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not gonna look at it anymore. Moving on to the main pack. This is the main reason for the update. Starting off with the first card, it is Super Star Slayer Thank You Fawn Sky. I'm not gonna be pronouncing that I'll just call him Superstar. It is a 1-card XYZ that is less than 3,000 attack, but negates the effects of all monsters with 3,000 or more attack, and it can return 1 monster from the field to the hand by detaching. It's not a quick effect. You don't have max C, and they special summon 5 monsters on their turn, and you can bring out 1 monster. That 1 monster can go into this guy, which can be equivalent to 1 bounce, and it's also disrupt if their monsters have 3,000 or more attack, because they can't activate the effects. New Pendulum XYZ. Wait, then that means that you can summon out this XYZ, you could detach both materials, summon 2 monsters from your deck, and then you can set it as your pendulum scale and get even more advantage. It's a Majespecter card as well, so you can add a spell or trap. That is a lot of versatility. It's definitely going to make that deck better. Wat Kayuki. This is new? So it's like a Wat OTK. That is now a more viable thing. I know it was a thing before, but it wasn't good. Okay, I mean, yeah, I think their other Synchro is like an ultra rare, which is weird. So it's an oddly expensive deck that's not even meta relevant. So, okay, whatever. Thanks, Konami, I guess. Hey, you summoned me. I'm generic. I'm just a 12. You get 1 card. That is really good. That is really, really good. You cannot overestimate and underestimate the power of 1 draw. Centurion Auxilia. Face-up cards in your spell and trap zone cannot be destroyed. That's an extremely powerful effect. During the end phase, you can place one of your non-Synchro Centurion monsters that is banished or in your graveyard in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. Yeah, I like it. It's not bad. Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever. Okay, alright. Yubel, an effect monster. If it's fusion summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each material used. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. At the end of the damage step of discard battle an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the opponent's monster's attack, and if you do, banish that monster. So what do you do? Do you like super poly Yubel using like every monster on the field except 1 on your opponent's side, and then you just attack them and then you just win by burning them? I don't know. That is, I mean, it's a super poly target if you have Yubel on your own field. I don't. This is a weird card. This is a weird card. It isn't the worst card, but it's just like, how do you get Yubel on your field? Mystic Tomato? I don't know. So this card has Yubel in the name, and it is also able to be summoned using resources in your graveyard. I really like that, because sometimes you just have trash in your graveyard and it's like, oh, that's never going to be useful. Not anymore. This fusion takes care of that, and now you have more options. The effect isn't bad either, that it can't be destroyed by battle, as 0 attack, 0 defense, so it's not going to be doing anything offensively, but it does have the tribute this card, and then you can destroy Yubel from your deck, meaning just summon a Yubel monster from your deck, like the two-headed dragon or something. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. Okay, now I see the restriction on you can't special summon it for the rest of this turn. I mean, you do that during your opponent's turn, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not that impressive though. It really isn't. Moving on. Embelia Oath, fan service the card. So you can place one of your Centurion monsters from your deck into your spell and trap zone, but it restricts you to only special summoning from the extra deck while that card's on your field, or you can set a Centurion spell or trap directly from your deck. I don't know how powerful the spell or traps are, but it doesn't seem like a bad search card, especially when it's a quick play and the art is very pretty. Nightmare Throne is excellent. You're able to destroy a fiend. It doesn't specify Yubel, so you can also do other fiends. And then if a Yubel just leaves the field because of a card effect, it gets replaced. That is pretty cool. It's very cool. I like that card. Iron Thunder, aka Solemn Judgment number 2. Is it worth it? No, but it is very cool to see that such a powerful effect. Solemn Judgment, which essentially says, hey, your opponent activates a spell, trap, or summons a monster, negate it. It has been banned, it has been limited, and now it's back to 3. Nobody really plays it. This card is essentially the same thing, except it can destroy more cards in the column. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I don't think it's a card you should chase after though. Majespecter Orthorus New. That is a very cool looking picture. I like that. This link is amazing. You get 4 cards total. You get 2 out of your extra deck, and you get 2 out of your deck. That is crazy, and it even says up to. Shino Betterness Shade Peacock adds you a spell or trap that mentions a spirit monster. I personally am a big fan of spirit monsters. Now, they're not very powerful in a competitive sense. Shinobeten Shade Peacock contribute itself if it's ritual summoned on the field, and add both a spirit monster and ritual spell. It increases consistency. It is only a level 4, taking advantage of the better spirit monsters that are in the deck that are level 4. And it still has the effects where if it's banished, special summon it, and during the end phase, return it to the hand. It's cool. It's pretty nice. What else? So Want Tuna essentially is, if you can get a direct attack on your opponent, you special summon this card from your hand, and then this card can attack directly, and it allows you to go into a Synchro. That could be game ending, because a Synchro allows you to go into another Synchro. So, I mean, they don't have a lot of attack on their own. 1,600, what does a tuna fish have? Like 700 or something? 800? Yeah, you're not going to be doing much with these monsters, but if you combine them with other cards, you might be able to go for game in one turn. Interesting. So Nephilia Abyss, the Ogadakic Overlord, is really good. It's really good in Reptile specifically. If any card is sent from the hand, deck, to the graveyard, you can special summon this card, but you're restricted to reptiles until the end of the next turn. That is 2 turns, but once this card hits the field, it brings back any one monster from your graveyard, mainly a reptile because that's all you can special summon, but that is pretty cool snake support. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's the worst thing ever. You don't even give your opponent anything, you just summon something from your own graveyard. I like stuff like that. So Centurion Trondea is mainly a search for the other Centurion monster, Primaria. It searches her out directly from the deck, then you can special summon her, the other girl, from the spell and trap zone onto the field and get your searches and your plays going. This card can also act as a level 8, so it gives you access to the Synchro 12s when you combine it with the level 4 tuner. It is interesting. It's not bad, it's just, you know, that's all it does. So Spirit of Yubel is quite cool, in my opinion, because it has the splash art very similar to Spirit of Neos, which is a card I like. It is like kind of like a hand trap, If it's destroyed either by battle, card effect, or whatever, special summon a Yubel in your possession as long as it's not banished face down. If your opponent declares an attack, you special summon it, so it hits the field quite easier than otherwise. And if it is special summoned, you can search your deck for spell or trap that mention Yubel. The field spell is the first one that comes to mind because that one's kind of good. Samsara D Lotus is a card that continually comes back during your end phase because it just special summons itself back from the graveyard. Also, it acts as like a monster effect disrupt, where if your opponent activates effect and you have this card and Yubel on the field, so you need 2 cards, you can essentially change their monster effect to destroy Yubel. And the reason you would do that is because when Yubel is destroyed, it like does things. Phantasmal Summoning Beast seems like decent support. The only problem in my eyes is that it is at level 7, meaning how are you going to get it on the field because it requires 2 tributes. But if you do get it on the field, it is just essentially just a straight up special summon of one of the divine beasts, Urea, Haman, or Raviel. Besides that, it has graveyard uses, which I think are a little bit more better, but I'm not entirely sure how good Dimensional Fusion Destruction is. I don't remember that card. Majespecter Unicorn Curtain. This card was banned. It came out like 2016-15. It was meta defining because it was extremely powerful, cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed, and it bounces as a quick effect. Will it still be good in today's metagame? It's just one additional disrupt in the Pendulum deck, but the new Majespecter support isn't the worst thing in the world, especially when you have a link that like searches your deck for 2 cards and gets you 2 cards back from your extra. It's just a lot, so it could definitely do some things. What Kingdom? Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters that activate when it is normal or special summoned while in the same column as a card or a want monster you control. In the want strategy, hey, it speeds up the deck. Pretty cool. Ogadic Daybreak is support for reptiles. It summons tokens on your side of the field, and it can allow you to Foolish Burial or send 1 reptile from your deck to the graveyard. Now, I don't know entirely how you get a banished reptile in order to trigger the send effect because I'm not familiar with the reptile snake deck, but this might be good support. You can let me know if you know. I honestly don't know much about that reptile deck. Stand Up Saturnion allows you to quick Synchro during your opponent's turn if they special summon. It also allows you to search your deck directly for one of the girls. Probably the better one, I guess, would be Primaria. Man, you have so many searches for 1 card. That is scary. I don't like that much. Nightmare Pain has an effect that warrants running it, as it searches your deck and it kind of speeds up the effectiveness of getting a Yubel on your field, and it also solves a problem with Yubel, as in, hey, your opponent's not taking any of the battle damage unless Yubel's in his like final 2 forms. So I think it's good. I think this one's actually quite good, especially in Yubel. You would maybe run more than 1, simply because it can search your deck and it does solve an issue with Yubel being kind of useless. Majespecter Wind is good because new Majespecter support in the form of spell or traps is powerful. It's exactly what the deck needs. It needs to be able to keep up with the meta. This is a quick play allowing you to play it on your opponent's turn, and it just special summons a Majespecter directly from the deck. It resembles the field spell for Majespecters. Time Deep Power Reserve is actually a good card. I didn't expect that. If you set this card down and activate it, it summons itself as a monster and gets you an additional monster from your deck for free. And if it's in your graveyard and an XYZ has both a spell and a trap, which isn't really hard in Time Thieves, you can just banish a card on the field. I'm assuming the banish on the field is a quick effect because this is a trap. So it gives you a disrupt. It gets you 2 monsters on your board. And that doesn't seem bad to me. The worst thing is that it's a trap. If it was a spell, it probably would be bonkers. I think this card sucks. It is searchable, which makes it a little bit better, but at this point in the game, a card that just does this isn't enough. It needs to do more. It needs an additional line of text. Eternal Favorite allows you to fusion summon during your opponent's turn, and it makes it so your opponent cannot respond with monster effects if you summon a Yubel monster. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's super poly, so it's not bad. Maybe CB, I like it. But it's not like the best thing in the world because it's a trap, you know? I never thought I'd see the day where I saw a new Arcana Force card, and this one is one of the best ones that has ever been released in the game. Does that mean it's a good card? No, but it's the best Arcana Force card in the game. Discard it, add a light barrier, That's cool. When it's summoned and hits a field, it has 2 effects. You can destroy a monster on the field if you cut heads, and tails, it destroys every monster in the field. So it does something good in both cases, in my opinion. Centurion MS6 is a quick effect special summon from the graveyard. You can even set the Synchro Centurion monsters in your spell and trap zone to special summon this card. I don't know what it does besides that, because all it says is it just special summons. So maybe you just special summon in defense as a 3k wall. I mean, yeah, if you want to play old school Yu-Gi-Oh! So Gruesome Grave Squirmer is actually quite decent in my eyes. If it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, special summon a Yubel from your hand or graveyard. I like the graveyard part. And also, if it's in your hand and you have a Yubel on your field, you can destroy that Yubel or another card that mentions it and special summon this card. It is cool. It is a good one. I like this card a lot. I'm glad it's a rare. I don't really like Centurion Gargoyle 2. Sure, it can come back to your hand if it's used as synchro material, but it doesn't really have a really good effect besides that. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think it's that impressive. In fact, it's a little bit better than Emeth, but Emeth is like a quick effect, so it's a little bit more appropriate during the opponent's turn. I like this card, Majespecter Porcupine. It is really cute. It's a free special summon from the hand if you control Majespecter, and you can get a resource back from your graveyard. Generally, you want a viable spell target in your graveyard before you summon this card out, but it can also just be used to extend, like get out a Link 2 or something else. Really cool card. I'm glad that's in the game, and it's only a rare. Star Line above the shrine isn't good because its main effect is you can ritual summon a ritual monster from your deck, but you have to tribute monsters on your field. So you already need to have the monsters on the field in order for this card to be viable. But during the end phase, if a wind monster returns to the hand, you can get 2 effects. Now the 2 effects aren't the worst thing. Adding a spirit monster from your graveyard or banish pile back to your hand is quite nice. I don't entirely know what card stars align across the Milky Way is, so I can't speak on that. Wake Up Centurion isn't a good card. It can Foolish Burial Centurion monster, but the only card I've seen that would want to be Foolish Burialed is Emeth, and Emeth isn't even that good in the first place. And it could also like summon a token, which I guess is good, but that's it. You're just playing this card for 1 token. Like, you can play other cards. I actually like Geist Grinder Golem. I think the artwork looks cool. It special summons to the opponent's side of the field, and then it has like effects where, like, if Yubel specifically attacks it, you gain, or your opponent gains 3000 life points, but in this case it would be you because your opponent has a monster. And it just keeps coming back to your opponent's side of the field. Yeah, they can link off with it, they can make a rank 8, but it's kind of like an annoying fun card. I don't think Centurion Bonds is a necessarily great card. It just gets you resources back from your graveyard. That's about it. Watt Psychic Fight Porter is unique support for the light archetype. You special summon 2 level 3 or lower light monsters from your hand, and if they're the same level and same type, they can attack directly and can be destroyed by battle this turn. Not necessarily the greatest card in the world, but you know, maybe some strategy might utilize this, and by some strategy I mean something that is just rogue or fun or casual, not anything competitive. Mature Chronicle can add you Super Poly, but that is at 5 counters and only gets counters if Yubel is special summoned or a monster that mentions it. That's not the hardest thing in the world because you have cards like Spirit of Yubel, which can just special summon with an attack. But I mean, you have to also keep this card on the field, and you have to survive to the point where this card matters. Usually duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! End in 3 or 4 turns, sometimes in 2. So, you know, good luck getting to your 5 counters to get your Super Poly. You're probably only going to get 1 counter, which is special summon Yubel from the graveyard, which isn't the worst effect in the world. Centurion Phalanx is better than the other Centurion normal and rare cards I've seen, mainly because the graveyard effect is quite powerful. Banish this card from your graveyard, target a Centurion Synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon it back. It loses attack, but you still get a Synchro monster back. And the on-field effect is like a disrupt or protection, because you can target your own monster to avoid targeted destruction or removal from your opponent, or you can target an opponent's strat and get rid of it for the turn. The bad part is that it comes back eventually. Alright, those are all the cards. I'm going to open up 10 packs real quick. Let's see what we get. Is this worth it? I don't know. We got the new Watt tuner. We got a Yubel. Damn, double Yubel, triple Yubel. Wait, is this a sign I have to play Yubel? Hold that thought. I don't know if I want to, but we will see. A Majespecter link, that's nice. I got some of the spirits. Ooh, Corinne, I never had that before. That's a great card. And the Time Thief Trap. Regardless, let me know what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll catch you next time. I'm going to be ending it here. I have a lot of things going on today, and I'm just happy to be able to share the update with you, and I love Yu-Gi-Oh in general. So enough yapping. I'll catch you next time. Later.